Hello everyone, this is Animesh Shukla, and in this video I'll be basically discussing about how we can use t-test in data science projects. So t-test is basically a test in statistics which is used to actually gain better insight upon the data, and in the initial process of data science projects towards while we are actually uh, in exploratory while we are exploring the data. So in exploratory data analysis we tend to use a lot of statistical techniques over there in order to in order to gain a better insight about the data, and that is where we can use this. So for example, in our case I've considered a use case which actually contains the data of the customers of a bank, where we are provided with the bank balance of the customer and its gender. So now our manager has asked to come us with some important conclusion or important insight about the data just based upon this short data, and we in this case we have just considered 200 customers only. Now the important insight from this data could be that if we could prove that there is significant difference between the average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females just from this data, and this may actually help us to create a policy where we may prefer sanctioning the loan of either of them just based upon their gender. For example, if from the data the average bank balance of females is higher than the average bank balance of males, so that actually explains us that females tend to have higher bank balance as compared to males, and thus they will be having higher capacity of repaying the loan if they take some loan from the bank. So hence bank would consider this, and bank would actually create a policy of sanctioning the loans of those customers who are female as compared to the males. So now how t-test is useful. So the very first step is the basic data pre-processing step that we always do whenever we are dealing with any of the data science project, and that is like checking the outliers. Inspection of outliers is very important, and we can inspect the outliers by box plots, interquartile range or z-scores, and then we can appropriately deal with the outliers based upon the proportion of outliers in the feature. And we can use certain techniques like Vensorizing or logarithmic transformation to deal with outliers. After dealing with that, what we can do is, yeah, the very first important, let us understand what t-test is. So t-test is basically a part of inferential statistic. So what does an inferential statistic mean? Inferential statistic basically means that we have been given a sample of data, and from that sample of data we are actually making inferences for the population data, for the bigger range of data, right? And t-test is a part of inferential statistic. So from here what we are basically doing is, so we have this data that we have over here, and we are considering the average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females, and based upon their average values of balance of males and females, we will be drawing an inference that if there is a significant difference between the average bank balance of males and females, this will actually lead us to actually creating some policy that I've discussed before only. And now let us talk about the assumption that t-test always holds, and the data should be that is which is the assumption that it holds is that the data should be normally distributed. And even if it is not normally distributed, then also the number of samples of data should be more than 30, because then central limit theorem will be applied, wherein central limit theorem basically tells us that if the sample distribution of the feature is not normally distributed, then the sample means, the distribution of sample means is always normally distributed, and that is the reason we consider the average bank balance instead of taking any other grouping function, right? So that is the reason we could have considered median, we could have considered any other mathematical function, but what is the reason we always consider the average? So this average thing always comes from this average thing has been derived from this central limit theorem, wherein it basically tells us that we have the population data, and from this population data we have several samples over there, and then we take out one sample and compute a mean of this sample. We take out another sample, we compute the mean of this sample. We take out another sample, we compute the mean of this sample. And after computing means of several samples, when we plot the distribution of the sample means, so this will always be normally distributed, and the base of z-test and t-test is central limit theorem only. Now after understanding this, we choose our null hypothesis, which is that average bank balance of males and females is equal to each other, whereas alternate hypothesis suggests that the average bank balance of males and females are different. Now what we need to do is we just simply need to group the data based upon their gender. So we have this original data, and now what we'll do is on the left side uh, we have the data of those customers which are female, and we have the data of those customers uh, which are male. So with this, what we'll be able to compute is we can compute the sample average. We can compute the average of male customers and average of female customers, and it will basically help us to actually get an inference about whether the average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females for population data is significant or not. Yeah, so now based upon the average of each category, that is average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females, will compute the t statistic and p value. But now the most important thing is how to understand the p value and the level of significance. So I have taken up a graph over here, and I'll just explain it in a very few things, few important points about the graph. So we know that we have alpha over here as 0.05, and this is a two-tailed test as was discussed in our hypothesis. So this is alpha by 2, and since it is a two-tailed test, the region over here and along this tail is also alpha by 2. That means alpha is basically the region of area towards the tail of the Gaussian, right? So this is the Gaussian curve, and these are the tails of the Gaussian, and alpha is the region towards the tail of the Gaussian. So this orange portion, till this origin portion, this belongs to the alpha, and this is the alpha by 2. That means 0.025 area is over here, and 0.025 area is over here. This region is also called as rejection region. I would say rejection RR, rejection region. And this and the left out portion over here, apart from this orange region, all the portion, let me just color it with some another color. Let's take as blue. And this region, this whole region apart from this, I'm sorry about that, this whole region apart from this orange region is called as non-rejection region. Non-rejection region, we have this. And yeah, always make sure that whenever we have p value is also the area under the area lying under the tail of the Gaussian. So whenever we have p value less than 0.05, that means we have p value which is lying beyond, which is lying in the orange region. Then it is lying in the rejection region, and in that case we'll be able to reject the null. And whenever we have p value which is higher than 0.05, that means it is lying in the bluish region over here, as demonstrated by over here in the bluish region. And then we need to, that which is nothing but the non-rejection region, and thus we need to accept the null hypothesis. So now I have considered another graph over here which actually has a p-value of 0.00015. That means that this orange region basically denotes to the rejection region, and since this value 0.0015 is less than 0.05, that is this limit 0.05, the area from here to here is 0.025, which is alpha by 2, and this is alpha by 2. And since I'm just so simply understand that if the p value is less than alpha, if the p value is less than 0.05, as can be observed over here, right, in the green region, the green region lies lies before this orange portion. That basically means that it is less than 0.05, and hence it means that we have rejected the null hypothesis since it is lying in the rejection region. So now I'll be trying to interpreting results for our data, and this seems to be our data, right? So based upon the average value, average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females, we have got a t statistic and the p value. So the p value basically denotes us that 0.314. So this is our, this orange portion is our benchmark, right? It is our boundary, and if the p value is less than 0.05, then it will be lying in the rejection region, and then we'll be rejecting the null. Whereas if the p-value is greater than 0.05, that means it is lying in the non-rejection region, and then it will be considered as accepting the null. So over here, as we can simply say that the p-value is greater than 0.314 is greater than 0.05. Hence we can see that this green region basically denotes to the region of this p-value thing, and hence, since it is, we can say that it is lying in the non-rejection region, hence we need to accept the null over here. So now I have written the similar thing over here, and thus we can say that, since I've just written the similar thing over here, and thus we can say that since the accepting the null basically means that the average value of males and average bank balance of males and average bank balance of females are the same, and hence this bank balance cannot be used as a metric or as a feature to distinguish between the males and females. Thus we cannot create any policy based upon the bank balance. Just we need to gather more data, and then we can come up with certain policies. So the key takeaway over here is that when we can use t-statistic for our data. So we can use a t-statistics for our data when we have one numerical feature and one categorical feature. So numerical feature was bank balance in our case, and categorical feature was gender in our case. And make sure that t-test is only used when this categorical feature has only two categories, right? In our case, the gender has two categories, which was male and female. Getting it? In more statistical terms, numerical feature is the one which has the measurement level of ratio and interval scale, whereas categorical feature is the one which has the measurement level of nominal or ordinal scale. And we can always use t-statistic when we have a categorical feature and a numerical feature, and based upon the categorical feature we categorize the data, compute the mean of that particular category with respect to the numerical feature, and then see if the mean of one category is equal to the mean of other category based upon one numerical feature, and then we test it based upon and then we can draw inferences based upon the p-values, and make sure if the number of categories, for example, if we consider a category which has more than two categories, right? For example, if we consider categorical data which is nothing but geography, and then in geography we have three categories, that is the Spain, France and Germany. So now we have three categories. So in this case we cannot use a t-test, we need to use one way ANOVA. So that is a separate topic, and that is a topic for a separate video. So thank you guys, and if you like the video, do share it and do subscribe it, and definitely do like it. Okay, thank you.